Hello, boys and girls, past, present, and future versions of ourselves. This is Mr. Archer with you again here today. And we have a thought of the day that started this morning at the beginning of the day, actually. And I was watching a PBS Space Time video on entanglement, I believe. And it was talking about the wave function and the double slit experiment and the probability of where the wave particle duality particle is going to land in the end. And I came up with a term and a thought that I think makes sense, but I'm going to put it on here anyway so I can rewatch it again and look at myself and see if I make sense. And perhaps some of you will let me know as well. But I called it the infinite cycle of destructively constructive interference in the coherent incoherence of universal wave functions. 11/20/2022. Beginning. What happens to the remaining energy of the perceivedly collapsed, less probable wave function not observed as the final outcome in a given double slit experiment? Technically, the observation, measurement, and final outcome of any given double slit experiment is made from a completely relative zero-point perspective in relation to the less probable and unobserved wave functions continuing along the path of their alternate slits from the standpoint of said observer, attempting the measurement. At the moment of observation, it is assumed to be made of the singly dual wave particle photon electron going through one or both of the slits, said party wave, wave particle, I thought it was catchy, I don't know, that'll catch on it, needs some work, may be thought of as instantaneously splitting itself or consciousness into the infinite Feynman path probabilities representing a potential outcome. Due to the restrictions placed down by the uncertainty principle, both the position and the velocity of said particle cannot be known at the same time by the observer. Thus, the observation in question must be said to have been assumed to more or less of a degree. However, due to the principles of quantum entanglement, any assumed wave party may well be said to be instantaneously traversing and communicating with all infinite sets of its own wave function timelines faster than any accurate observation can be made or comprehended from a purely macroscopic point of view. At the moment assumed observation of the wave party's final position by an observer, there must still be the consideration that all other energy elements of all other unobserved wave function timeline probabilities must still exist somewhere on some or one of the less probable eventualities of lesser density of a lower energy level or field due to the fact that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Let us assume that all infinite paths followed by all given wave functions continue along from their own zero-point perspective indefinitely until the moment of their own self-observed wave function collapse, upon which point all energy remaining of that particular wave function's energy level is redispersed equally and accordingly amongst all other remaining wave functions of the initial branching zero-point observation of entanglement. Upon said redistribution, it may stand to reason that upon reassimilating closer toward the one universal unity of consciousness, amongst all other wave functions not of a self-observed collapse, but still fragmented throughout various levels of energy density on separate world/timelines, that all information contained within the mass of said fractally encoded collapsing wave function redistribution would also be instantaneously reassimilated into the consciousness and or conscious awareness of all remaining entangled wave functions, and thus raising their vibrational frequency and awareness to the next ascending energy level or field of entanglement through sacrificing its own coherence and creating its own universal wave function through becoming a part of the collective whole for the purpose of evolving the greater awareness of the disconnected parts of the universal unconscious oneness of understanding. The needs of the many may outweigh the needs of the few. but the whole is also greater than the sum of its parts. Thank you, boys and girls.